Well, hello, beautiful people. How we doing today? We are back at it once again with Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn. And we are into part 39 of chapter 8. And I didn't get a chance to talk too much about the scripting, but I hope you guys got an opportunity because that was an amazing uh, part, and I hopefully go back. That's it right there, right? It's the feeling, getting into the details of it. Yes, it might seem weird and odd at first, but think about it. As kids, this is what we were naturally born to do. We just forgot about it, right? That's really what it comes down to. And someone at some point, whether it be a parent or some type of adult, told us, hey, you know what? You need to stop dreaming and you need to grow up because you're an adult now. But unfortunately, that's just the working mentality that's always been the case. Our God given ability has always been to dream and to imagine and to be in this place of just feeling good and just learning how to imagine and create and just let things naturally attract. So I hope you guys are trying this. Definitely comment down below. Let me know how that went with you guys doing the scripting. Because again, this stuff right here is exactly what helped me get a luxury car. I mean, I made a significant amount of money back then, and that's why I'm so excited to get back into this and just remembering all these things. And in the next video, we're going to be doing an actual trick that helped me get a bunch of stuff. So keep getting. Hope you guys are, subscribing and doing these things daily because this is some amazing stuff and I'm so glad to be sharing it with you guys. So let's go ahead and get into part 39 here. And let me just go ahead and get set up here for From No Biz to Big Biz. All right, here we go.
From no biz to big biz. A good friend of mine owns a sizable independent real estate firm in Washington state. He's always been a hard worker, fair to his employees, and supportive to his agents. But he was having some financial problems and couldn't seem to find a way out. Over lunch one day, Buck started talking. The whole area was in a prolonged slump, and everybody's sales were down. Even his best agents were talking about leaving to go into other fields of business. Everyone knew the market would turn around eventually, but in the meantime, there were mouths to feed. My friend wasn't looking for answers because it seemed to him that there were none. To his way of thinking, he had become a victim of economic circumstance.
Mhm.
He and his crew had exhausted all the usual promotional gimmicks and pounded all the proverbial pavements only to watch sales continue their avalanche downward. Although I had never talked with Chuck about the law of attraction, I figured this was as good a time as any, since I knew him well enough to know he'd at least be polite and listen. It seemed the biggest problem was not so much that sales weren't happening, but that his salespeople weren't happening either. They were down in the sewer someplace with very closed valves, feeling grossly sorry for themselves, blaming the economy, creating an enormous group vortex of lack, and absolutely guaranteeing the company's continued slide into oblivion. So I suggested that Chuck have one more meeting with his people to point out that, since they had tried everything else, there was little for them to lose in trying this one last project on for size. Only touching lightly on the physics of the law of attraction, I looked him right in the eye and spoke from my soul, hoping my uncharacteristic seriousness might get his attention. Chuck, if you can get your people to do this, your business will turn around. It worked. I had to admit feeling a bit smug as I watched him so earnestly reply. Go. I suggested he have each of his people pick a dollar number of what they'd like to make in the next 3 months, and then triple it. Chuck groaned and, oh God, here we go again, but I ignored it. Then I suggested that once they all had that figure in mind, Chuck should ask each one why they wanted the money, staying with one person at a time and working it through with him. Because once that first guy got the routine, the rest would know how to dive right in. His pain looked mellowed into, interesting. Without going into detail, I explained that their first responses would probably be don't wants, coming from a place of lack, and that statements like, I want the money so I can pay my bills, would only get them more of the same, no money and more bills. Chuck wasn't getting it, so I got him talking while I asked the whys. All right, my friend, tell me what you want right now. I want to pay my bills. Why? So I can feel better. Why? Because I hate being uptight. Why? Because it makes me feel bad. Getting close. So how would you rather feel? Free. I want to feel free. Eureka. We have it. Okay, make it a statement. I want to have $60,000 so I can feel free. Great. Now, how does that feel? Oh, it feels fine for a minute. Good grief. How would I ever get that kind of money in this market? Forget the money. It's only a grubby pile of paper. Talk to me about what you'll do with the money after the bills are paid. Bit by bit, a long hidden collection of dreams unfurled. He and his wife Sarah would go to Bermuda, where they had always wanted to explore the possibility of retirement. They'd take the grandkids on a cruise somewhere. They turned the basement into a full-blown stereophonic music room, and on and on. But the one I could tell he really perked on was Bermuda, so I wanted him to dive into that one. I put on my most earnest face and leaned across the table as far as I could stretch. Tell me in detail, Chuck, every little detail you can think of about the dreams you and Sarah have of retirement in Bermuda. It was awesome. The whole room lit up as Chuck's energy soared to the heavens. It was as if he had never dared open his heart to this subject. So the more the words and feelings poured out, the wider his valve opened. Chuck wasn't flowing energy to his want. He was blitzing it. Right in the middle of his reverie, I said, hold it. That feeling place where you are right now is where I want you to bring each of your salespeople. Tell them to forget the actual paper dollars they've specified and start focusing instead on what things the dollars could bring them. Then start flowing energy towards those things until they reach the same passion you just experienced. This way, you've got them sneaking in the feel-good back door. By avoiding any of the negative connotations usually associated with dollars, especially when they're out of them, they'll unconsciously allow the cash to magnetize in. Your people want what we all want, Chuck. Not the stupid pieces of paper, but the experiences that come with having them. Make them promise they'll do this for 30 days, at least once every day, for 10 or 15 minutes. To my total delight, Chuck called about 6 weeks later with the first good news. His people had been so down, he had had no trouble in cajoling them into his little experiment. But that wasn't too surprising since I had coached Chuck into doing some pre-paving. I told him how to create that initial meeting in his mind just the way he wanted it to happen, including that his people be open and willing, and to flow that kind of up energy to it. He did, and by the time everyone gathered together, they were nowhere as resistant as they might have been had Chuck not helped them along vibrationally. Everybody except one upheld their promise and was faithfully flowing feel-good energy every day to their wants as they wrote new scripts. They had genuinely gotten into the swing of this thing and started feeling a lot more enthusiastic about life without a clue as to why. They felt better, so who cared what the reason was? About 10 weeks into the venture, Sales started to develop, but from off-the-wall sources. One gal had an aunt in Illinois who wanted to move to Washington. Another had an Army son and his friends who had just been transferred to the local base at Fort Lewis and wanted mom to find houses for all of them. Another fellow had two referrals come in from a person he thought would never speak to him again. And still another had big success with a marketing idea to contact a very select group of buyers. Everybody had some kind of movement going, enough for them to see there was no way all these happenings could be called coincidence. In the face of one of the worst real estate markets in the area's history, these folks had found they could circumvent conditions and be responsible for their own destiny. Every day, this gang was connecting to their inner beings, expanded selves, feeling inspired for the first time in months. They were sending out highly charged waves of positive energy to the universe with their individual requisition lists, and the universe was responding with circumstances, incidents, ideas, and motivation in accordance with their levels of intensity. Best of all, it became infectious, and apparently still is.
Hmm.
The guy who didn't care to participate in the experiment ended up quitting the business. The last we heard, he was living off his wife's retirement income.
Oh boy. Wow.
Ah,
All right, you guys. I hope you guys are learning. This is taking notes because this is gold. Beautiful stuff. And again, she was using some key points here, right? She was literally talking about do it 10 to 15 minutes a day for 30 days, right? That's the challenge. Let's do that right now. Let's start today if you guys haven't already, and just get into this feel good place, right? What do you have to lose at this point? That's what we're talking about. So, but this stuff is amazing. And like I said, I mean, I'm just getting giddy and excited listening to this book over again and just realizing how much of a gem this book was, And like I said, it was a deep cut, it was hidden. Something just said, hey, let's put out this book because it's a book that's always resonated with me. And as you can see, I mean, this stuff is getting better. So definitely come back tomorrow because this trick, the $100 trick that they're talking about tomorrow, is going to be amazing. I love it. I still do it to this day, and it's the trick that I learned from this book, and it's helped so many times in so many different ways. So we'll definitely go over that. So definitely get excited for tomorrow. Comment down below if you are already doing the scripting out loud, of course, with feeling, getting into that visual place. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button just so that you guys don't miss any of this content. I would really appreciate it if you pass this information on because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from all of this information. And I'm creating this channel just for you. I'm seeing all the good energy and vibe that this channel continues to grow. And I'm just so excited to help and support so many people. So until next time, you guys make it a great day and take care. Bye-bye.